So one of the key strategies and skills that we talk about when it comes to developing resilience for ourselves is a flexible mindset and some of those emotional intelligence skills around, understanding how we think and feel influences the way that we act. So when we're talking about things like positive reframing, negative thinking versus positive thinking, mindfulness and so forth, what does it actually look like in real life? What does it look like when we're able to employ some of these resilience skills? So Kim, I'm going to ask you to assist me with a little example or a little test here. So humour me and tell me, what is the worst possible thing that could happen to you?
The worst possible thing would be losing my job.
And for most of us, that's a big one. So you've lost your job. What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
If I've lost my job, then I've got no income coming in, which means I've got no money.
So you've lost your job and you don't have any money. What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
If I've got no money and I've lost my job, I probably wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage payments, which means I'd lose my house.
So Kim, you've lost your house. Now, what's the worst possible thing that could happen?
I could imagine that would put a fair amount of stress on my family, which means it could lead to the breakdown of my relationship.
So our family is now broken down, or our relationship is now broken down. What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
If I've got no money, no home, no family, I'm going to be all alone.
Right. So you're all alone, Kim. What's the worst possible thing that could happen?
If I've got no money, no home, no family, I'm all alone, I can't support myself. The worst outcome then would probably be death.
And so what we've seen here very, very quickly is that we've moved from losing our job to no money, to losing our house, to the breakdown of family, to alone, and to death. Kim, do you think this really illustrates the way that you'd like your mind to work?
Not at all. It's quite daunting seeing it in that format and how quickly we move to death. But having a look at it like this, you can see at each step of the way, there's probably actions you can put in place to stop yourself moving to that next step.
Absolutely. So let's actually start with losing your job. Kim, have you actually ever lost your job before?
No.
So you've actually got a reasonable amount of confidence around your ability to work.
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies that you might put in place, or what are some of the options you might have when it comes to job and employment?
Some of the options I would have would to be start networking in the market to see if there's other jobs available. I could also look at retraining.
Yep.
I used to waitress, so I can always go back to waitressing if I need to.
Absolutely. So there's actually a number of different strategies that you could try that are going to help support you if it came to losing your job.
Cool.
What about no money? What else could that be?
Yeah, if I had no money, I could look at options like using our savings.
Yep.
I could also look into short-term loans to get some money in the interim.
Yep.
And of course, there's always family that you can rely on to help.
So what we can see here is that at any point during this downward spiral, we can actually choose to look broader, to change our perspective, to be a little bit more flexible in our thinking, and turn this spiral back around. And so what we're talking about when it comes to resilience in terms of thinking and coping is actually having that ability not to get caught in the negative death spiral, but to actually choose at any one point how we're going to think about this, how we're going to feel about this, and ultimately how we're going to act.